I mean, AI could eventually replace all studio musicians, and it could happen. It probably will happen.
And I was like, man, if I was my daughter's age and our children's age in a couple of years, if I'm looking at what musicians are doing now, I wouldn't want to do this.
I've worked with TikTokers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll have millions and millions of downloads and millions of views, but they can't do 100 tickets in a hard tickets in a venue.
When we made Define the Great Line, for example, we went against everything everyone told us to do. And that's not why we did that. We didn't even think about it.
Whether you like to hear this or not, we live at a time where people want it the way that it is. The powers that be want us to argue.
No band is just on a upward trajectory always and always getting bigger, better, louder, more successful.
Yeah, I would say there's
not
probably
that.
20 to 25 people a night that know Boy Brush Red and Writing on the Walls.
It's wild.
Really interesting. What does your favorite band really think? What's new in the rock and metal scene? And how can you make it as an artist or band? In the For Those About to Rock podcast, we're sitting down with the biggest names in rock and metal, and we take a peek behind the curtain of the local music scene. For this episode, we met the post-hardcore legends Underoath on their Europe tour with Landmarks, and they got brutally honest. Aaron Gillespie and Spencer Chamberlain answered questions that all of the musicians and fans want to know. What happens to bands when AI writes better songs than humans? Is viral success a straight up lie? And why does nobody in Europe know Underoath? A little note before we start. For Those About to Rock is airing every Sunday with the best rock and metal. So tune in if you want to leave the weekend with music, interviews and news from the underground. Sunday 6 past 8 p.m. on Radio Agora 105.5 or on our live stream at agora.at/livestream. Hello guys, this is Aaron from For Those About to Rock, and today we're sitting down with a band that influenced the post-hardcore and metal scene for over 25 years. And they had a turbulent band history from breaking up at some point to reuniting, and this year saw the release of the 10th studio album already, right? The place after this one, and I have the pleasure of sitting down with Aaron and Spencer, who are the voices that shaped Underoath.
Hello.
Hey guys.
How are you?
Well, fine,
Good.
thank you. And
It's a very foggy day here in Vienna.
yeah, and also when it's that foggy, the pollution is really bad. So also
really?
not a really healthy day. Again,
Oh.
we just talked about
I feel
French
fine.
fries and how unhealthy they are. So
I feel good. I went running today. You know what I've noticed about European countries is when I go running in the mornings, like at the venue typically, and people will just walk into you in Europe. Like in America, if you're running, or in England, if you're running, and maybe it's just the language barrier, people will like kind of move out of the way. Here, they'll just walk right into you. It's like
Depends on where you are. A couple of the places that people are a little more.
you mean in the center of
Kind.
town? Sorry to.
yeah, or just anywhere. If you're like if you're running down a busy street, people just
Or
will.
walking.
Or even if you're walking.
shopping or
I mean, they're all on their phones, aren't they? So that could be.
yeah.
that could be a problem to navigate doing that. Just maybe talking about, you said in several interviews, guys, that and let's take it up from there, because you said you went running. You said you work best as a band and as musicians when you're in a good spot personally. Where is Underoath right now? Where are you two right now?
I think
How are you feeling?
this far into our career, being better friends than we were when we were children is a pretty phenomenal place to be in. Because I think when you start a band, you're like, you're little kids, you're kind of all the same, right? You all started a band or joined a band because you had similar interests, like the same bands, dressed the same, went to the same restaurants and went to the same shows, whatever, watched the same movies. And then at some point you kind of become individuals. And I think that causes a lot of growing pains and a lot of different issues, even though it's healthy. But I think at the time when you see someone changing, you're like, oh, fuck that guy, right? Like he's different now. But this far into it, I think that's kind of come full circle to where we're all accepting of each other's differences and we can just get on the same page, at least as friends, and just hang out.
How old are you?
35.
Imagine if the people you were friends with when you were 15, you were still doing daily life with. Like
not many.
You know what I mean? Like, but not just daily life, but I mean like living in a close quarter with.
Yeah.
That's what being in a band that's been a band for a long time is like.
Yeah.
And you go through, it's like any relationship, right? Where you go through phases.
Yeah.
You know, you're married, you said. Like sometimes with your wife, it can be hot and heavy and wonderful. And other times you have a couple months where it's rough. You know, it's just like that with a band.
Yeah.
But I feel like the better part of the past 5 or 6 years, it's been really great.
I mean, especially when you have such a different, let's call it, way of life. One thing that maybe is interesting is other friends. You lose other friends along the way that have kind of ordinary lives.
I mean, I think that's in any like asset of any person as like growing up. There are times where you've got a lot of friends and there's times where you don't. And I think that's just the ebb and flow of life with people getting married or getting new jobs, moving to different cities. Some people go to college, some people don't, or university, whatever
Becoming a career musician, you hear people say like overnight success. You've heard that phrase. Like none of that's true. Like becoming a career musician takes a lifetime. You eventually when you decide this is what I'm going to do, you have to really dig in and hone your craft. So it's the same thing. Like he's saying, like if you're a lawyer or a doctor, you got to go to school for 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so all those
probably
people,
lose a lot of friends during that time.
It's the same,
you know?
yeah.
But yeah, I think you lose friends even when the band became popular. A lot of friends are like, well, screw those guys. And then other friends are like, I want to be friends with you because your band's popular. Like you go through all those different phases growing up as a band. But like Aaron was saying, it's as a career musician, you kind of got to ride the wave. And if you can't ride the wave when it comes down, you know, that's when bands fall apart. And we've done it. We've fallen apart before. But you got to be able to take the highs and the lows because it's not all. No band is just on a upward trajectory always and always getting bigger, better, louder, more successful. Every band from the Rolling Stones to the Deftones and every hardcore band and rock band in between has good years and bad years. It's just how it goes.
So, I mean, would you say basically that you call it overnight success, people blowing up on TikTok overnight, is that even a real thing? Is it possible? And then again, is it healthy? Because you guys are talking a lot about the immense pressure.
I think
on
it's
you guys,
possible. Right? Obviously, it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the proof.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's sustainable.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of we both live in Nashville, but I own a studio and live and work in Nashville. And I've worked with TikTokers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll have millions and millions of downloads and millions of views, but they can't do 100 tickets in a venue. So that's the thing that takes time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So no matter what, like I don't believe there is an overnight success.
Yeah.
Like you're either going to work on becoming the best musician for 10 years or you're going to work on building a real hard ticket audience. Because you can make money off TikTok, obviously. You can make money off of that stuff. But the only way to make a true sustainable living as a musician right now, currently, is to sell hard tickets. And that takes time.
And I don't think it's worth it. You know, like the overnight success thing is like, because what I'm interested in is I watch like younger bands come up and blow up. I'm like, that's great. You know, good for you. But where are you when the dust settles?
Yeah.
Because at every point, the most it band right now will have a moment, whether it took them 10 years of doing this and then all of a sudden they have a moment. Where does it go after that? That's what I'm interested in. What's your second record to that follow-up or third? Like when the dust has settled and you're not the new thing everyone's talking about right now, are you still creative? Are you still able to grow and captivate an audience? Because you're never going to be that it band forever. And I think that's a hard thing for people to swallow when they get that moment. When they get their big boom, what happens after the boom? You know what I mean? Like Metallica stopped booming a long time ago. You know, like Deftones stopped booming. Nine Inch Nails stopped booming a long time ago. But a lot of those bands have managed to still... But how do you do that when you're not the one that's talked about right now, that's got all eyes on you? Everyone wants to be you right now. You know, that's what's hard.
But do you think that's getting harder to do, to have a sustainable career then? Because basically everybody chases the next trend and chases being on Spotify playlists and, as we said, blow up. But if that's the main goal for a lot of young artists, are there sustainable
I feel like
careers?
there's two answers to that question, like, and none of us know. Like, the outcome of the internet age, it's not going away. It's only getting stronger with AI. It's just going to change. It's going to consistently change. I do think there will always be, I mean, AI could eventually replace all studio musicians, and it could happen. It probably will happen at some point, but what you can't replace is the feeling of getting in a room with a bunch of people and seeing a great live band. So in my opinion, I think that's the craft that the professional musician must hone the most.
Must be like,
because studio, we're going to be replaced by AI. It will happen.
If you're a laptop bedroom, tons of followers person, I would be most worried about the AI right now. I'm not worried about AI because whatever it does, if it can write a better song than we can, I don't care, but it can't get in a room with people and make that feeling like.
And that's something it'll never do. And that's why I don't worry about it.
And like,
I saw eerie stuff like these robots playing shit in.
No,
you as a drummer, we know, like, I don't know, in 600 BPM or something.
Last night we gave AI a bunch of prompts.
Yeah.
Like, there's a program called Suno.
Yeah, I know.
And some of the songs were cool.
Yeah.
Like, we were just having a couple drinks before the show. And it will eventually, I mean, it's one update away from making like great lyrics and stuff. The lyrics right now kind of suck, but I think the music is great. And I think it's probably like one or two updates away from making, and I don't worry about it because the feeling that you receive in a room seeing a great band, robot won't do that.
And I think also not trying to toot our own horn, but we always kind of stood against the grain as we were growing up.
Yeah.
We were kind of always different, I think, in a way. And I think the bands that are taking those risks now, like, AI will make a better song than you, but where's the guy that's like super creative, that it's very out of left field and not what the formula or the system or the machine is asking for? Those kids will be the ones that will survive, because it's like, I don't care about your fucking hook and your how quick can we land a lyric hook in a 7-second clip. They were talking about, I remember when we first started talking to labels when we were re-signing, it's all about getting them in the first 20 or 30 seconds. Now the conversations are about 7 to 9 seconds because of how fast people are brain rot, doom scrolling, all that shit. Like, that is very right now. And like, what are the younger kids that are like, I don't care about that, or that stuff's lame. Seeing kids dancing and lip singing on TikTok. Ooh, like that kid and the kid that's trying to make stuff that tests artistic boundaries are going to be fine in the AI era. I was talking to Aaron actually a few days ago. We were talking about, just new music and setting up albums, and who we are very bad at, we've been in trouble for not promoting our own music because we don't make those videos. And should we try? Do we hop on that? Do we do what everyone else is doing to promote? It's free promotion pretty much. Like, why aren't you doing it? And I was literally looking at him the other day. I was like, when I was growing up watching Alice in Chains and early Nine Inch Nails and Nirvana was half the reason why I picked up the guitar, listening to my dad's Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and all this stuff, watching these live clips on MTV or whatever, VHS tapes that my older brothers had. All I wanted to do was that. I was like, that's what I want to be. And I was like, man, if I was my daughter's age and our children's age in a couple of years, if I'm looking at what musicians are doing now, I wouldn't want to do this. Because this fucking sucks. Being away from the people that you love, it's hard. The show is great. Playing is awesome. Creating is awesome. And everything that comes with it is pretty rough sometimes. And if I were to look at, if I was 15 right now, our kids are 4, but you know what I mean? Like, if I was 15 right now scrolling.
I have a 14-year-old son. Watch it.
And like, if I were scrolling and saw that's what musicians have to do, I would not be turned on by that in the way of like, I want to do that.
I think there's like a bit of a rebellion against it from the younger crowd too. Like my son just started his first band.
Yeah. Sweet. What is he playing? What instrument?
Drums. With his friends.
Obviously.
And all the stuff they talk about is Nirvana and all the 90s stuff. So I think there's...
And I love that.
I think
that makes me so happy.
The AI thing, it doesn't worry me that much. It just doesn't.
I mean, I love the theory that basically the AI slop will eventually replace a lot of stuff, but it will become so generic that in the end, when social media is full of AI slop, when the music is, there are so many AI bands that you can't listen to anything else, then human music will get so random and crazy again, as you said.
That's what I'm talking about.
And it will be interesting.
I'm almost excited for that because we've had enough generic by this point. You know, like
maybe it'll push us into creativity.
Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe it forces humans to push some boundaries again because I'm getting bored. I don't know about you, but I'm getting bored, especially in our genre. Bored. So I guess it might get weird for a few years, but I'm kind of excited to see what happens on the outcome of it. Yeah, flood social media with so much AI to where we decide that I'm sick of looking at it. I don't need to look at it anymore because I'm like, nothing's fucking real.
That could definitely be in favor of basically mental health of everything. That if it's so full of AI that nobody gives a shit anymore, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? I mean, let's stay with that thought for a second. I always admired your uncompromising approach to we write whatever the fuck we want. And but I'm really interested in the way that works, because you said basically a song isn't approved before everybody is fine with it. How does that work in terms of the actual process and not turning it into endless discussions? And
I mean,
it's hard.
Songs are funny because they become your life's work, right? Like this is our life's work, so it could never be done if you don't want it to ever be finished. So eventually you got to get it to a place where everyone's happy and you can go, okay, we're ready for people to hear this. But if you wanted to, like,
you
can rewrite till you're blue in the face. Like, I mean, you can just keep going.
And we've been victim, you know, we've kind of learned that we self-produced the Voyeurs record. And a lot of times I think some of it, the demos are better before we started to rethink. And we had a song on there in particular that we were sitting around to our team, like, that's the best UNDEROATH'S song ever. And then by the time we got it in the studio, we sucked the life out of it because we redid this and we redid that, we rethought this, and then it didn't even become a single on the record because we did that. There was no producer, we did it. You know, and I think that's a lesson to be learned, that you know, you get, there's still some magic. There's magic in that first storm of a disaster of like, we all like some of the same things, but we all have such different, you know, like he really loves some stuff that I don't. I really love some stuff that he doesn't. He really loves some stuff that none of us do. And then when that little middle ground that we all sit on is very fragile, like it's like walking a thin line that you could fall off at any moment. And if we got everyone doing this at something and like, fuck yeah, maybe that's it. You know, because if we keep trying to make it better, sometimes it falls up for one guy or falls up for another, or we just suck the life out of it and it comes out and it just falls flat. So it is like walking a tightrope for this band to make music.
Exactly. That's the interesting thing to me, at least. How to make that work. Yeah, it's a fine line, isn't it? So a compromise to some extent.
It's a compromise to some extent, but there's not really an answer to the question, because I feel like songs just, they happen in different ways every time. You know what I mean? And you cultivate them for as long as you can, and then you let them go, and you have to get everybody on the same page. And it's just, there's no real rule or rhyme to it. Do you know what I mean? It changes every time.
And the more we, as UNDEROATH, you know, it's different. You know, writing songs. He and I both write on other people's songs, him more so than I, because he does a lot of country stuff that I don't really do, but we both write on a lot of other people's songs, and it's a different approach with Under Oath. I think with Under Oath, it is the less rule we have on the definition of what a song is, the better outcome for a core Under Oath fan and pushing this band forward is. The more we try to define what a song is, the more it falls flat in hindsight. It might be something that me and him like, or all of the band likes. Like, we like good melody. We like a good catchy song. We like we both listen. That's shit we listen to. We love that. But sometimes when we try to define what a song is for Under Oath, it doesn't really work out so well for us. I think the more we go, I don't know, just make music that we like, the better it turns out for us.
In terms of turning out, you mean also the response from the fans, right? Or
no,
how is
not necessarily.
It's so hard to think about.
Yeah, you can't think about the fan.
When you're making songs, you can't think about that.
It's how you feel after. You get really excited. You create a record with your friends that you, like we said, we've been together since we were teenagers. It's a celebration when it's done. We're like, fuck, we made something that's great. And we feel great. And then you walk away from it and come back to it and be like, do I still feel great?
Our fans' favorite records are from 20 years ago, for the most part. So if we went back and made that knowing it would make the fans happy, it would be really fake, right?
Yeah.
So you can't really think about your fans when you're making the music. You have to just do it. You know what I mean?
You got to kind of be selfish, to be honest, because when we made Define the Great Line, for example, we went against everything everyone told us to do. And that's not why we did that. We didn't even think about it. We were little kids that wanted to make something different than we made last time that made us feel good on stage, what we were playing. Because we went out there after making Chasing Safety and played all these shows, and we're like, man, it feels violent, it feels crazy, it feels off the wall, unhinged. And then we push play and it goes, it feels really polished and very clean. Let's not do that again. So let's make something a little more violent and unhinged and crazy. And we made a record that was not advised for us to make, not because we were like, fuck the band, fuck the system, just because we wanted to. So I think when it comes to making music, you have to really try to please yourself, because if you don't dig it, how do you expect a fan, a new fan or old fan, to believe it if you don't? Because if you're like, I don't like this song, then don't make it.
I mean, you talked about you always piss a part of your fan base off with the next record. So
no matter what.
Yeah. Which one did you piss off just for the chicks and gills? So this time, do you think?
We don't choose. I don't know. Like, there, if you go deep dive on our Reddit, there's a group of people their favorite record is Disambiguation. Yeah. And there's a group of people that's favorite records is Voyeurist or Erase Me. Like, there's always a group of people that don't get what they want. And I think you just have to tone all that out. Like, think about being in Radiohead, from the Bends to King of Limbs and everything in between, like the different twists and turns that band has. And you go live and you expected to see Fake Plastic Trees and all you got was Kid A. Like, I'm always there for it. I would be, as a fan of Radiohead or whatever, I'm there for it. And I'll always see them again the next time they roll through. Even if they don't play the song that I really wanted to hear, I'm still there. So I think you just gotta tone that stuff out and try to be, I know it sounds gross, you gotta be an artist. And an artist doesn't listen to his critics.
Cheesy, but it's true.
Yeah,
it's totally true. It's I hate that phrase, but it's like, I mean, I don't know where I heard this quote, but somebody said selfish art is the best art. You know what I mean? And I think, I don't know if you guys have that saying here in Austria, but selfish art is like what's exactly what you want to make when you want to make it, And I think that in order to get quality music out of an artist, that's what you need.
And with it, and we still have that, like, we know what the DNA of Under Oath is. I can go through my mind and think about any show I've ever played at different points. The DNA is still the same. Even with a slow song, a catchier song, a more singy song, a more screamy song, a heavy electronic song, it's still like, I know what the DNA of Under Oath is, but we need to make selfish art. But that DNA, we're not going to come out with a country or hip hop album. You know what I mean? That's not our DNA, if that makes sense.
Let's stay with the
playing live and playing old songs live. You said you're always digging the newer stuff, obviously, but you always keep, and I think a lot of the bands that have been around for such a long time have the classics in the set.
Absolutely.
Do you still enjoy playing them live, or is it like, okay,
the people make it? I mean, if you were playing to an empty room, you know, to be honest, when we rehearse, we don't play Boy Brush Red over and over again, you know, but like the people is what makes it great, you know, like, you know, that people want to hear, but it does get hard sometimes. Like, you know, Europe is our worst market. We do the least business.
Always have. So
on this tour with Landmarks, I would say 75 to 80% of the crowd has never heard of Under Oath. And we still play In Regards to Myself and Boy Brush Red and Writing on the Walls. And it is hard some nights because they don't know those songs. Yeah,
it's hard to play a song that's 20 years old if no one's there to hear it, because we're doing that for our fans. We, you know, like for example, when we went out with Papa Roach all year, we only played 1 or 2 old songs because we know going on a tour like that, the point of us doing a tour like that is to play for new people. And if you're going to play for new people, you put your best foot forward. And if you're even a half-assed musician, your newer stuff should be your best work.
Yeah.
The last couple albums should be a better representation of you, more so than the first couple of albums, because you've gotten better as a band and as an individual. But, you know, when we know we have fans buying tickets, like being a direct support band or a headlining band, we're always going to put stuff from every
But even
album.
on this tour, I've thought about it a lot the past couple of weeks. Like, the Landmarks fans don't know.
Yeah, this is the weirdest thing we've seen in a long time.
Is that just
a direct support slot? We normally have more than half the audience knows, and they sing very loud.
Yeah, I would say there's probably 20 to 25 people a night that know Boy Brush Red and Writing on the Walls.
It's wild.
Really interesting, because for me, at least, in this subgenre, you're gigantic.
Not in Europe.
It's interesting. Is that just difference between US and Europe?
I just don't think
in general, or
any other country.
Any other country, it's great. Yeah. I just don't. I think we just didn't really put the work in over here. I think
we did not.
The first time we came here, it was in the winter, and we hated it because it was dark at 2 p.m. and everything was closed. And this was before cell phones, you know.
Well, not before cell phones, but before we could afford.
We came over here in 2004, and we were here for 2 months, and we all lost like 25 pounds. Like we got so sad. It was so dark. So I think that we were like, oh, and then we just didn't come back enough. And now we love it, but it's too late, you know?
I don't know if it's too late. I just think we have a lot of work to do. I think it's...
If you stay for the show tonight, you'll see.
We got to come every year and a half.
Yeah.
Like we were, like last night, we played a place we've only played once in Landmarks, who, I don't know how long they've been a band, but I know not as long as us. And they told me, like, we've played this city 10 times. And now we're headlining this room. I'm like, well, that makes sense, because if we think about after 10 U.S. tours in America, yeah, we were doing really good in a lot of these markets. But we're talking about, this is our second time here, and maybe the last time here was almost 10 years ago. That's not how you make a fan base, you know?
You have to put the
scene, you know, the music scene moves on, you know, like Landmarks is the new hot thing in Europe. So that's why they're great guys, and they've been so gracious to bring us. So hopefully we can get some of their fans.
And that's, you know, like, we've always had the mentality of, in like you said, it's the same subgenre of whatever you want to call this. Like, Landmarks isn't that far off from what Under Oath does in the grand scheme of heavy music. You know, the whole point is to gain new fans, and it makes it easier for us to come back, because it is so expensive to come here for U.S. bands and put on a good show. Like, we don't want to come over here and put on, and we have to, we put on half the show that we can put on in America, because we can't afford to put on the show that we put on in the States and in Australia and in Canada. And
it's very
UK,
expensive to come. It's 6 figures for us to come here, you know? So by the time we get here, you have to really, you'll see half the production. You'll get the full energy from us, but like, you know, the bells and whistles, there's not as many.
The blinking lights.
But like the fact that we're here, you know, we could be on tour with Justin Bieber for all I care. We're going to put on an Under Oath musically performance to the best of our ability. We're not going to change our set list. We're going to do what we think is right. And with that, given those circumstances, if you grab 10 new fans, that's a win. If you grab 200 new fans, now you're looking at like, oh, when we come back, we could do a bigger room than we did last time. So that's we're obviously here to put in the work to come back. So.
Yeah, sweet. Hopefully it goes well tonight. I hope that the Viennese people make me proud.
A lot of pressure.
No.
They won't.
We will. If it doesn't, we will only picture your face in it.
Fucking hell. About the newest record, the place after this one, the song that probably resonated with me the most is Generation No Surrender. And am I misinterpreting that, or are you also sick of the way things are right now? And there's no end of demagogues ruling and fucking constant crisis? Or
well, even going back to the social media conversation, whatever side you are on, algorithms and AI have separated us all so much. It's just, it's disgusting.
We're living in a time when the powers that be, and we're not political artists. Like, we're not going to talk about the right or the left side in this. It won't happen in this interview. But we live at a time, whether you like to hear this or not, we live at a time where people want it the way that it is. The powers that be want us to argue.
Yeah,
they want us to be salacious. You know what I mean?
And they have whatever side you're on, you're getting fed that you're on the right side. If you disagree with your father, your parents,
the correct side.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're getting the correct side. Sorry, they're feeding. AI has learned what you like and what you want to read and what you want to hear, and it will feed you so much information because all of us are guilty of waking up. What do you do? Going to bed. What do you do? Bored on an airplane. What do you do? And you're reading and reading and reading, and then all of a sudden you're so angry and you're so divided. And we were just, I think everyone's kind of sick of that, but realizing that it's what it is, is I guess the first step. That
Buddhism says that, right? Kind of.
I don't know much about Buddhism. Does it?
Yeah, I think to recognize your suffering is the first way out of suffering.
I think the simplest answer is to love each other.
Yeah.
If somebody is black, white, green, trans, straight, whatever, like,
acceptance.
You love those people because they're people. You can look at somebody on the right side who's hateful and go, man, I see you as a person. You can look at somebody on the left side who's hateful and go, I see you as a person. And that really is the answer, but we're not being fed that. Like, if you pick up your phone, it wants you to pick a side, especially in our country. Pick up your phone and wants you to choose black or white, A or B, salty or sweet. Like, you got to pick. It's like, there's no, like, even down to dieting in America, it's like, eat all carbs or none.
Yeah. Eat all meat or eat all veggie.
Yeah.
There's no, like, just don't eat bullshit. And it comes down to that, I think. So Generation No Surrender is really that. It's like, it's enough.
Yeah. I don't want to leave on that note. So we always have a funny part at the end of the interviews. We love to put bands on the spot a bit. One thing you know about Austria or Vienna in specific, other than people running into you? You already said.
I don't know.
I don't know anything about Vienna.
I don't either. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, have we been? I don't know.
It's like beautiful mountains here, right? Or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, not in Vienna, though. In the east of the country, none. In the west, where I come from, a lot. Beautiful Tyrol.
The only thing I know about Austria is sad.
Which is that Hitler was from Austria?
That's it. That's all I know.
I mean, that's something.
I mean, I didn't want to say that.
We love to give him to the Germans, you made him big. Yeah. He was born here, but
you made him popular.
Mozart was also from Austria.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And Falco was.
Falco,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mozart being from here is a cool fact. I learned something today.
You're welcome. And your main advice for young musicians? We have a lot of listeners being musicians themselves and being in.
Do it because you want to and because you have to, not because everyone else is or because you're trying to get clicks. Do it because it's the lifeblood of who you are.
Yeah, it is not what it's made out to be. If you truly love it, you'll do it. No matter if you're playing at a local bar for the rest of your life for 5 people or you're playing for 5,000 people. Like, you do it because you love it. You love that instrument so much. Like him with John, I've been playing guitar since I was old enough to hold one. And all I wanted to do was rush home from school and play the guitar. You know, like that kind of love for it. Songwriting, guitar, bass, drums, whatever it is. Do it because you love it.
I mean, just yesterday, preparing the interview, I had the discussion with my wife that her take was basically because you guys were talking about the toll of being a touring musician as well. You did today as well, and I said, well, but yeah, you have to as a musician, right? And she said, yeah, well, her take was if it's so hard, then do something else. If you're a musician, you can't do something
you don't want to
else.
Yeah. You love it that much. Yeah,
it's like going to the bathroom or breathing.
Exactly.
Like you have to do it.
I couldn't imagine, like the first venue stage I played on, I was like 12 years old. I couldn't imagine not playing on stage. That's just not even an option,
Yeah. Let's leave it at that. I mean, we could talk for hours, I reckon.
Yeah.
And we would miss our meeting and get yelled at.
Yeah,
by our
we're
manager.
going to get in trouble.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you like this podcast, please leave a comment or review in your podcast app and follow us on social media and wherever you listen to podcasts. For Those About to Rock, every Sunday on Radio Agora 105.5.